Hello everybody. I wanted to talk today about Dr. Jordan Peterson. So I do a weekly show on Hinduism and current events on YouTube for those of you who are just finding me for the first time. And I started this show about a year and a half ago, just wanting to talk about things from a religious point of view, that of Sanatana Dharma, or just really getting people to think about things and question things, because asking questions, finding answers to questions is how we grow as people, humans, artists, spiritual beings, whatever. Asking questions is how we get from point A to point whatever, wherever. We may not even know what the next point is. So I started this show to do that, and one of the first episodes I ever did was discussing Dr. Jordan Peterson. I had someone just say to me the other day that he came across my podcast because of that episode. And I haven't talked about Dr. Peterson in a while, and many things have changed in his life since that episode. So I thought I would just briefly touch base on him and also use him as catapult or stepping stone for some bigger thoughts that we can maybe apply to our life. So when I did that podcast January 2023, January, February, somewhere around there, Dr. Peterson was on the verge of losing his license, or it was in the discussion stages, I guess we could say. It was going to happen. He was trying to fight it from happening. That's kind of where I'll say, because I don't remember exactly the details. And we know what happened. He lost his license, and he could either have walked away and said, "Screw you, Canada," or he could take, for lack of a better word, like rehabilitation, brainwashing classes to purge his bad thoughts and eventually get his license back. Yeah, I think those are good enough choices of words. He decided to take that route. And as far as I know, though I don't actually keep up with him that much, I don't watch everything he does. I just, once in a while, every few months, will catch something he's doing. He's been taking these courses to purge his bad thoughts. And supposedly he was going to record the classes and share them with the world, or at least share what he was being put through, because the idea is he won't be the last to go through something. This is just the beginning. There are people who speak up against the government will be through this. So he's trying to sort of expose Canada. Is he doing that? I don't know. You all can comment and tell me if he is or he isn't. That's kind of not really important of where I wanted to go. Well, actually, no, it is kind of important where I want to go. I just lost my train of thought. My apologies. There was a nice breeze coming through the window on a very warm day, and I was like, oh, feels good, of this heat wave we're having in July 2024. So before I go into the point, I just want to backtrack about my relationship to Dr. Peterson. I don't consider myself like a fan, but I think he's a really cool guy. I remember when he was still the college professor who people would film and put on YouTube and do these wild talks like none of us had ever in a college class, and I'd catch them on YouTube and it'd be like, college professor talks about XYZ. I don't know if his name was, it was just like, he kind of went viral. And I'm going to be honest with you, I used to watch those and go, wow, he's probably one of the few really cool professors left in a very convoluted educational system. But man, can he stay on topic, please? I just remember following him, and the guy is super smart, but sometimes I think he would get derailed and he wouldn't get back on topic, and it would just sort of meander for me. And I try to stay on topic. If you listen to all the stuff I do, I always bring it back. Even if I go on long tangents, I always bring it back. But I just felt like he always meandered. So I never really got into him. And then, or he had published a book that went huge. I've never read it. I'm sure it's a great book. People swear by this book, but I've never read it. If you want to send me a copy of it as a thank you for watching my show or listening to my stuff, hey, I'll read it. But it's just never something I've gone after. And then he became huge. He got on YouTube and he would interview people and he would talk. And that's actually when I started sort of paying more attention to him. I think is when the world started paying attention to him. I remember many interviews I've seen with him. I can't even think of who he was talking to. They were just fascinating because he is a really, really smart guy. But over the last few years, I've seen him change. And this is going to sound horrible when I first say it, but he's sort of come down to earth a little bit. What I mean is, I began to see him go from this very refined gentleman who could win any argument with the greatest sort of Chestertonian type rebuttals. He would make, William F. Buckley proud. Gore Vidal proud, and many of these other people would love him. He went from that to someone who seemed to be becoming a little bit over-emotional for someone who had their emotions really under control, except for getting mad at people for saying insane things or illogical things. He would start crying. He would start getting really emotional, and maybe it's because he let his guard down with certain people. On certain shows, he knew he wasn't being attacked, and so he just relaxed. But you began to see the human underneath it. And I have often thought that he was beginning to show the struggles he was under. I don't know how him and so many others, whether it's W, who was considered the worst president ever, or Donald Trump, who's now considered the worst president ever, again, the second worst or first worst, whatever it is, or Ted Nugent, Morrissey, you name someone who is dumped on constantly in the media. And sometimes I wonder how some of these folks are able to deal with it. Maybe they just never turn on the TV or don't get online and they don't know what is being said about them. Other times I just wonder, how do they handle it? Do they have managers to keep them in a bubble? I don't know. And I think Dr. Peterson, though, actually may go out there and investigate a little bit and find out what's being said about him. I just have a feeling he's a very curious man. And if he's like me, he does want to know what people say, even though it probably is too much. And how he keeps it under control, hearing so many things going against him and seeing his career fall apart from stupid complaints is beyond me. And that's what happened. His career, if you know the story, which you probably do if you're listening to this, fell apart because people who were not his clients, when he was a therapist, complained about him to the government that he was a bad psychologist because of what he said on Twitter or what he just said somewhere. They didn't like it. They weren't even his clients. They were just people in the public sphere, strangers he'd never met, who just saw a post he put up. I don't like that post. We're going to complain about him and ruin his career. How would any of us handle that? He was crying and falling apart. I think most of us would want to murder somebody. Seriously, if someone was doing that to you, I guarantee most people out there would just be in a state of absolute... I mean, what do you do? What do you do? Now, luckily, Mr. Peterson is, I'm assuming, a millionaire, and he has a side career, so even though he's lost his license, he's still okay. But a lot of people, they don't have a side career. They're out of work. They're out of work. And to go on a show to cry is probably the least of the emotions they would have. So I don't... But what I found, to go back to this, is as he became more emotional, I see things starting to change in him. I think he kind of started living up to this iconic person that he's sort of become. Many people have said that the future of America is going to be a Christian revolution, a somewhat nationalist Christian thing. Not Christian nationalism, it's something a little different. It's going to be a quasi-Christian thing with young men who are oppressed. So that's not Christian nationalism. It's going to be young men, white, straight men, who are totally oppressed, can't get a date, can't do anything, are told they're horrible, can't get jobs, and they're going to fight back. And Andrew Tate's going to be one of the people they look up to, and Jordan Peterson's going to be one of the people they look up to. They're going to be like the Lenin and Trotskys, and then Stalin's going to come up. It's going to be something like that. That's what a lot of people have said. And so sometimes I think Dr. Peterson has sort of become that person. But he's changed over the last few years, and I actually kind of pulled back from watching him. He was already sometimes difficult to take because he just talks so much. But I just think he fell into this world of something, and he has changed. He went from being a scholar to almost a guru, not deliberately, maybe a way of just, he's taking what he has and he's just fighting. I don't know. That is my view of Dr. Peterson. So I'm not doing this show with any real bias for or against him. I do think he's a fascinating guy. I think he'd be amazing to sit and talk to. I was really impressed seeing an interview with him with Vivek Ramaswamy. It was like, wow, Vivek got advice from Dr. Peterson. I would be humbled to get advice. For me, it would be like, if I had him give me advice, it'd be like having Gordon Ramsay cook for me. I'm like, yes, sir, thank you. All you made was a ham and cheese sandwich for me, Mr. Ramsay, Chef Ramsay. Okay, fine, I'm happy with that. I'd be overwhelmed. So that's my view, and I just say that before getting into the gist of what I wanted to talk to today, just so you see where I'm coming from. For those who want to argue against me, so I want to talk about where Dr. Peterson is today. So last I knew, and I could be wrong, and everything I'm saying is out the window except for some grand scheme point here. He was going to take these classes, be reformed, maybe someday get his license back, which he doesn't need, and then reveal the insides of this class, and I guess, I don't know, make everyone aware of Canada's collapse into insanity. I want to give Dr. Peterson a bit of advice, if this is what he's doing. Or if he's not revealing to the world what's going on, but he is taking these classes, which supposedly he had to pay for. So he has to pay for his own brainwashing. This is my advice, Dr. Peterson. Okay, from one of us Yankees down here under the border. Let it go. This is not a fight worth fighting. This is not a hill to die on, sir. Sometimes you need to pick your battles. And I do not think spending your money to reveal the insane brainwashing of a country is worth it, because you're not going to change anything. I seriously believe you're not going to change anything. Even if Trudeau leaves the Prime Minister chair, which he should, and we know who should replace him, Pierre, even if that happens, you're still not going to change anything. And you're making us all aware of this, but we're already aware of it. You made us aware of this the very first day that your career was threatened. We all became aware of what was going on in the country. So to continue to make us aware, to continue to take these courses, to put yourself through this, Mr. Peterson, Dr. Peterson, back down. Back down. You're not going to change anything. It is almost like a protester who destroys a painting in a museum to fight climate change. Show me a painting that's been destroyed and how climate change was stopped. Please, show me the correlation. I don't know, show me. Did someone go out and rush out and buy an electric car? Oh my God, the Mona Lisa was destroyed. Honey, we're buying an electric car. Never happened. Show me one statue in a park that was taken down of some Civil War person or some founding father, and now racism has ended in the community. Show me some white person that was going, blah, 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 on my way to work. Oh my God, the statue of George Washington's gone. Oh, maybe I'll debate my racism now. I'm such a racist. I never knew it until the statue was gone, and it made me realize I was a racist. Never happened, okay? Show me one young black man or an Indian walking down the street, seeing a statue of George Washington going, oh, I'm so oppressed right now by this statue. Never happened. Nothing has changed. So when you, sir, are trying to make the change, you're not making any change. As I said earlier, I've seen you collapse. I've seen you fall. I've seen you fall apart emotionally. So I would suggest it's time to back off, back down. It's like a musician who's been on the road for too long, and you walk up to your bandmate and you go, yeah, okay, I'm taking a holiday now. And the band sort of just fades away for a while. You don't break up, you just don't want to see these people again for a while. That's where I think Dr. Peterson is in. It is time to back up and slow down. Here's the thing. I think Dr. Peterson can make huge change in this world, not by fighting this battle he cannot win and will waste his money and puts him through an emotional train wreck, wastes his time, and doesn't do anything. I think he can win the battle not by getting his license back, because he won't. We know he won't. He never will. And he doesn't need it anyways. But by writing another book, by doing a speaking tour. Oh my God, if he came to town, I'd go and see him. By doing more podcasting, TV shows, make a movie. I don't know. But I know I discovered him through all of those things. I didn't discover him as a therapist sitting in a room. Most of us didn't, actually, which means that license isn't how he changed the world. That license got him to a place where he was a professor and reaching out to the world, but that license isn't what made him famous. It's all these other things he did, and now to fight for that license, I understand he worked hard for it, and that is a horrible struggle, and I really feel sorry for him. But his role in the world has now changed. He is no longer a therapist, and he even came out and said that he wasn't doing the therapy anymore anyways. It was just holding on to something that he had worked for. But times have changed. It's time to let it go, accept that it's gone, but you're not going to have patience anyways. Your patient is the world. That's the realization that has to occur. More will be done on the video on YouTube with an interview with somebody that will reach 1 million viewers than getting that license back and meeting one person in a room. So it is time to put the battle away, to say, I lost this one, but I'm going to fight on every other front that I can get. That's my advice to Dr. Peterson. The fight is done, sir. The fight is done. Please do not waste your time or your money or your energy or your sanity. And as a therapist, you should understand how these things drain on your sanity. So that is what I wanted to say. Now I wanted to spin this around to just a bigger thing. Is this you? Are you in a situation in your life, whoever you are, I'm not talking to Dr. Peterson, I'm talking to whoever. Are you in a position in your life where you are struggling with something and you're fighting against something and things have changed and you can't win, but you're just like, oh, I'm going to fight anyways? You can't win it. But righteousness rules the day. Step back and think to yourself, is this worth my time, my energy, my sanity, my money, my friendships, my relationships? Is it worth it? What will I gain by putting all of my energy, time, etc. into this, which I can't win? Is it worth it? We want to fight for things that are of value to us. That's human instinct. But sometimes we actually have to wake up and go, my life is now changed. It's almost like if you lose your job. Do you fight to get the job back? Well, sometimes you do, but most of us just hit, or Monster or Indeed or the newspaper in the old days or Craigslist or whatever. We just look for a new job. We lose a friend. We look for a new friend. We lose a relationship. We may fight to get that relationship back, but we move on. Because so often fighting isn't worth it. Sometimes it is. You have to judge. But sometimes all the cards are stacked against you. And even if you win, what are you going to win? Like Dr. Peterson is going to win his license back, but he's not going to use it necessarily. He doesn't need the money. He's probably too busy. He's got another book to write or YouTube videos or whatever. He's not even going to meet with someone to use it. So he's going to win a license that he's not going to use and spend so much money to get there just to say, I won. But does it really need winning? Sometimes we have to back up and go, this isn't worth the fight. That's what a general does, or an admiral, or a captain, or whoever in the military. They go, is this worth the fight? It's a Star Trek episode even, Battlestar Galactica. Is it worth sending all of our ships in the battle for something that will have us all killed and not be worth it? Not always. Sometimes. Sometimes, yes, it's worth, the fight is worth it. But sometimes it's not. And it takes real honesty and soul searching and humbleness to back away. And maybe we're also in a position like Dr. Peterson where actually by backing up, we will do more by just losing, by just walking away. You know, he's actually in kind of a better position now than he's ever been in his life. He's reaching more people and doing more stuff and having a bigger impact than he ever has in his life. Losing the license won't impact that. It's a tough call to make. Every situation's different, you know. Maybe that ex is worth fighting for. Maybe the job is worth fighting for. Whatever. In this situation, to Dr. Peterson, I wanted to send the message out that I think you should take a break, sir. Take a little vacation. Grab your family. Grab your daughter and your wife. Step back from the cameras a little bit. And come back with us in a month or 2 months from now. You'll be fine. Your career's not going anywhere. And stop this fight and now start a new fight. If you want to fight Canada, don't do it through the opening in the door that they're giving you, because it's a doggy door. Build your own door. Or dig up from the bottom like someone would dig up from underneath a bank vault. That's what you need to do. You need to fight in a way that they can't stop you. You know? I guess maybe you're on the Daily Caller roster these days. You can fight through there. They can't really do much to you. You can fight through that. You can fight through your books. What's Canada going to do? Stop you from publishing your books that are published in, let's say, a foreign country? And if they do, that's going to be huge news, you know? So you can create the battlefield that you want to fight on and you can win. But right now, you're fighting on their battlefield, on their turf, and you can't win. And it's a lesson for all of us. It's a weird lesson. You're giving us a lesson by doing what I think we shouldn't be doing, but it's a great lesson, which is probably not the lesson that you want us to take away, but whatever. So that's my thoughts, and I wanted to share those today. Like I said, I hadn't talked about Dr. Peterson in at least a year and a half, and I've had these thoughts, and I just thought, well, yeah, let's put this out here and see what other people think.